When I was a child, and this is gonna sound sickening, but when I was a child, I used to play Doom all the time. Doom was my childhood. Specifically, the PS1 version of Doom that had both Ultimate Doom and Doom 2. And I was so addicted to it. I used to play it over and over and over and over. I mean, it was my life. It was a huge addiction. And then shortly after that, I got Doom 64, and then way after that, I got Doom 3. And by the time I played Doom 3, I was around 12 years old, and I'm 22 now. I'm turning 23 next month, but I'm 22 now. So I have literally been waiting almost half my lifespan for another Doom. So I had to pick this game up. I I mean, waiting that long, and there are times when I even forgot Doom existed because it was such a huge gap, and I was playing other games like Bioshock and, Fallout and stuff like that. Doom just went at the very back of my head, and just until last year when it was finally announced at E3, that's when my whole life went back in time when I remembered how great the series was. Um, and even Doom 3 as a horror game, it was great, and I still think it's a great game. But it didn't really feel like Doom. I didn't like a lot of the character and enemy designs of Doom 3, and the corridors and the hell in that game just felt very bland, and it was design wise, it was hit and miss, but I still thought it was a really great game. So when I heard that Doom 4 came out, Doom 2016, it's called now, I just had to get it. So I got Doom a few days after it came out, which is funny because I still got the pre-order bonus, and I am not disappointed. I am not disappointed. I am so fucking satisfied. Um, this game is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting to be a little bit disappointed in the gameplay. I was thinking it's going to be like kind of generic and stuff like that, but it was so fun. Let me get into it more, because there is so much to the game. Let me elaborate. There are three different modes. There's the campaign mode, which is like 15 to 20 hours long, depending on how thorough you are and how much you explore. And then there's also the multiplayer, and then there's something called the snap map, where you get to make your own maps. Let me just start with the campaign first. The biggest part of the whole game, the meat of the whole game, in terms of the content and the package, is the campaign. It's not a short game at all. It's a really long game, I think. Um, Story wise, it's not really important. You're basically just stopping a mad scientist lady and closing the portal to hell. Like, it's very minimalistic. Story has never been important in the Doom games. I remember with Doom 1 and 2, all it gave me was like a text between each episode. So story, it doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of people are gonna talk shit and say that there's no story here. It's really not important to Doom. It's like saying story is important to Dark Souls. It's really not. I mean, people play it for the gameplay and the fact that it's fun and intense and really engaging. And Doom does not disappoint. Like, it starts off with you breaking out of a fucking cell and automatically kicking ass. There's no boring moment at all in this game. It is all 100% action, blowing shit up with everything you have. The very nature of this game feels like classic Doom. It's so simple. You just kill shit. That's what Doom meant back then. Um, there's a lot of similarities between this Doom and the old Dooms. Um, the progression and going from mission to mission. Uh, Even though there's only like 13 or 14 missions in this game, but they're all like really long and complex and huge, fucking huge. Unlike Doom 3, the levels in this game are so goddamn long, people. Um, they also brought back the color coded keys. Oh my god, man! When I first picked up a color key, it just brought back nostalgia. Um, so they brought back red, blue, and yellow, doors. The maps look very similar to what they used to in the older Dooms, with the gray areas being the areas that you haven't explored yet. They brought back the auto map, um, and they even added some collectibles here and there too. Um, they have all the guns you know and love, like the super double barrel shotgun and the BFG, and they also have a couple newer ones too, like a heavy assault rifle and a Gauss cannon, I think it's called. It's basically like a plasma laser beam, which I thought was pretty helpful for getting rid of bigger monsters. And there are also hidden Easter eggs all over this game. When you unlock an area, it's like it turns into like old Doom, the graphics and everything, and they take parts of the older levels from the original games and put it in there. And when you unlock these places, they become playable extras from the main menu, and you can actually replay missions from the original Doom games with the new enemy models replacing the old ones. It's really interesting. I loved it, and I want to find all of them. I still haven't found all of them yet, but I will. Believe me. There are new things to the gameplay. First of all, and this is really kick-ass, I love this, the glory kills. They're basically gruesome, extremely gory, explicit melee kills. Basically, you soften an enemy up with gunfire, wait for them to get stunned or almost killed, and then you go up to them, and you bash their heads off, you rip their arms off and beat them with it, and it all depends on what body part you go for. That results in a different glory kill, and that's amazing. And glory kills give you extra health and ammo. For some reason, I don't know why, health and ammo just like comes out of monsters for no reason. So it's very efficient. Not only does it save you a lot of ammo in the long run, but also God, I had a brain fart. But also you get health from it too. So yeah, that's really cool. And you can perform glory kills on pretty much anyone, like from zombies to imps all the way up to uh, Barons of Hell, and even like boss fights. You can perform glory kills, and like no matter how big the monster is, and it's amazing. It's completely badass, and it's incredible. Um, Later on, you get boots that can allow you to double jump, and you can also climb and scale obstacles. Um, they got rid of reloading in this game. Doom 3 had reloading your guns, and I like this. It makes it even more simple. It feels like Unreal Tournament or something, where you just pick up a gun and whatever ammo you find, you have in your gun, and that's just like what the old Dooms were. There was no reloading back then. The ammo that you picked up in your max ammo was your ammo. You didn't have to reload your gun. And I think it makes sense, because when you're fighting hundreds and hundreds of enemies at a time, you're not going to have time to reload. This game would have been so much harder if you had to reload your gun every fucking 5 seconds. And it would have been annoying. And I'm glad this game is not realistic. I'm glad that it's kind of cartoony and silly and whatnot, because it feels like Doom. It feels like classic Doom, and that's what I asked for. Now, there are some minor issues I have in the campaign. First off, my biggest issue, the thing I hate the most, are these rune trials that you come across throughout the game. They look like green floating rocks that you activate, and Basically, if you complete them, you unlock another benefit or upgrade or whatever, and it feels cheap. It feels way too hard and harsh, not hoss. It feels way too harsh in regards to the time limit. It feels like it doesn't give you that much time. Um, and a couple other minor issues like um, having to kill every single enemy most of the time. Uh, Unlike the classic Dooms where you can just run through enemies on nightmare difficulty, rush to the exit. You can't really do that anymore. There are doors with lockdowns that you have to kill all the enemies in order to open those doors. There are also doors closing behind you for no apparent reason, so it's definitely more linear than the older Dooms. So, yeah, and there are a couple bugs here and there, like floating body parts, and there was one time in particular where I fell through the ground after doing a glory kill on a mancubus. That wasn't cool. That resulted in my death, which wasn't my fault, but oh well. It only happened once, so I'll forgive it for now. Um, Now this game has upgrades. It has armor upgrades and weapon upgrades, and they're very helpful. And you get weapon upgrades from just general progression, like killing things and collecting things and whatnot. And you get armor upgrades by collecting Pretor points. I forgot what they're called. I forgot what they're called. They're points that you get from dead soldiers lying around, and you use those points to upgrade your suit, and that's really cool. I love the customization and upgrades in this game. They're very helpful, and this game turned into something that I didn't expect it to. It turned into everything but generic and repetitive. The pacing of the campaign itself was very well done. The music, the heavy metal music, fit in perfectly with the action. I am not a heavy metal fan. I've never liked heavy metal music, but this is like the one time where I really liked it. It fit. It really fit. The hell in this game, the art direction of hell in this game is so beautiful. Um, Many people have claimed that it looks like something straight out of a Metallica album or something like that. I don't know anything about that, but I really do like the design of hell. It looks like what hell would probably be if hell is real. Bunch of skulls and fucking skeletons and blood fountains and stuff like that, and instead of your generic lava pits that Doom 3 had. This one is much better and way more interesting, and unlike Doom 3, hell takes up about a third of the entire game, instead of like 1/10. So, yeah, hell is more, what's the word for it? Hell is more important in this game. Hell is more relevant. It's not something that you forget. It takes up a lot of the campaign. So yeah, that's pretty much the campaign review of my Doom review. I loved it. I'd probably give the campaign around a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. Just a couple issues I have with that aren't too important. They're kind of trivial.
Not funny.
Anyway, on to the multiplayer. The multiplayer, I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, it's not bad, nor is it really great. It's pretty fun. It reminds me of Quake and Unreal Tournament. The way you just run around really fast and shooting people from the hip and having it be like startling, just very accurate, and it's just really, really fast paced, and I like it. I like the multiplayer. I mean, it's not impressive, but it's not bad either. I have no real issues with the multiplayer. You can also customize your armor and weapon colors, and what your armor design looks like. And there are also demon runes that can allow you to transform into a demon of your choice. in order to, just kill people easily. So yeah, the multiplayer is, it's good. It's not like amazing, but it's definitely not bad either. Feel free to try the multiplayer out. Um, but the campaign is definitely more important if you're buying a $60 game like this. And lastly, the snap map. I love this idea. I love the idea of being able to make your own levels or multiplayer map. The depth is amazing. What you can do in Snap Map, from uh, making doors unlock with color keys, and placing enemies and how they spawn in your game, and just everything. There's so much complexity to it. Probably too much, to the point where I oftentimes forget how to do half the shit that I can do in Snap Map. um, you can also play other people's maps, and a lot of people have made some pretty damn good maps. However, I feel like there's not enough variety in what you can do, like how to make your levels. And what I mean by that is it's all corridors. That's all it is. I want to make outdoor levels. Like I want to make a door. I want to make a level that takes place on the surface of hell, like hell, or the surface of Mars or something. I really wanted to make a hell level, but I can't. It's all corridors. It's all like factories and shit, and it's all indoors and cramped. It feels lacking, despite my excitement towards what I can do in it, and the ideas that I can put in it. You know, it can only go as far as what the developers allow you to do, not as far as your imagination. And with my imagination, it kind of fell flat. The snap map. I've always been interested in making Doom levels. I know people are gonna tell me, well, I could have made Doom levels on DoomWad on PC or whatever, but I don't play PC. I'm talking about like actual Doom user-generated content on console, being able to make my own Doom levels. That would have been really cool, and it is cool how I finally can, but it's not exactly what I wanted it to be, the snap map. So yeah, that's a little disappointment. The variety of rooms and stuff is a little limited. It's all corridors and just kind of like boring factories, and you can place music and stuff into it, and like how the lighting is in each room and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But you know, like I said, it only does so much. And I think in a little while it's going to die down and people are going to kind of forget about it. So, yeah, that's kind of like my review of Doom. The campaign is definitely by far the most important aspect of this game. If you're going to get Doom, get it for the campaign. Or don't get it at all, or wait for a price drop if you just want to play the multiplayer and snap map and tinker around with that. But there's no reason why you shouldn't play the campaign of Doom either way. That is how Doom is meant to be played. The campaign has always been the most important part of Doom as a series. And yeah, so my final score of this game, it would have been a 10, man. It would have been a 10, but those rune trials and the snap map bring it down a little bit. My final score for Doom will probably be a 9 out of 10. An amazing game. Very amazing. My second favorite game of the year so far, after Uncharted 4. That might change sometime, along the road. But as of right now, this is by far one of the best games of the year. I highly recommend it. It is the best shooter I've played in recent memory, And yeah, it is absolute, completely badass. Um, so yeah, coming up next, The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine comes out May 31st, so that will most likely be my next review and video. Alright, guys, well, until then, stay tuned, and thank you very much for watching.